Good morning, friends. Welcome to today's circle time. I'm so happy you're here. We're going to start our circle time today with The More We Get Together. When we sing the names of our friends, picture them in your mind. I know I'm missing all of you, and I know that you're missing your friends. It makes me feel better when I hear everybody's name and I think about what they look like and all the fun that we had together in the classroom. You ready to sing? Here we go. Oh, the more we get together, together. Oh, the more we get together, the happier we'll be. For your friends are my friends, and my friends are your friends. Oh, the more we get together, the happier we'll be. Oh, here we are together. Oh, here we are together, all sitting on the floor. There's Charlotte and Clara and Marley and Carmen and Charlie R and Ian and Jesse and Matthew and Augie and Ryan and Leah and Atticus and Nicholas and Anya and Sky and Evan and Charlie K and Joe and Taryn and Julia and Jackson and Audrey and Zachary and Sela and Philip and Jameed and Mrs. Lambert and Miss Kuhn and everyone in the room. Oh, here we are together, all sitting on the floor. Awesome, friends. Today, I thought it might be kind of fun to talk about some animals. So I've noticed in the last couple weeks the number of animals in my backyard has grown so much because it's springtime. So just in the last couple weeks, I've seen lots and lots of different kinds of birds, blue jays and cardinals and finches and woodpeckers and all sorts of different birds. We've also seen a ton of bunnies. We always have bunnies in our backyard. We've seen raccoons and skunks and lots of chipmunks lately. And it got me thinking about all the different animals and where they live. So today we're going to talk about animal homes. And the fancy word for home is habitat. Habitat means where something lives. So we're going to talk about animal habitats today. And I thought just to get our brains working, I'd start with a little song just to get you thinking about different animals and different habitats. While I sing this song to you, I want you to kind of visualize. So in your mind, I want you to make a picture of the homes that I sing about and kind of where they are and what they look like and maybe what the temperature is in those homes. Okay, so this is just to get our brain working and starting to think about animal habitats. It goes like this. On top of a mountain or under the sea, there are so many places where creatures might be. Alone in a desert or grouped on a farm or tucked in a tree trunk away from all harm. On bright sunny grasslands or in a dark cave, in jungles and forests where all must be brave. On ice in the Arctic or holes underground, there are so many places where creatures are found. Right, so that song had a few different ideas of some different habitats. We're going to play a little game right now. I have some word cards with some animals on them, and I'm going to show you the word card. And maybe if you're in the room with somebody else, after we talk about the animal, see if you can name the habitat that they live in. Okay? If you don't know, that's okay. We're here today to learn. We're going to read a book afterwards all about different animal habitats. But I just thought this was a fun idea, again, to kind of get our brain activated and thinking about animal habitats. So the first one I have for you is bee. Do you know where a bee lives? If you know where it lives, I want you to turn to another person in the room, maybe even a stuffy or a pet if you have them in the room, and tell them where you think a bee lives? What is a bee's habitat? All right, did you guess a hive? That's right, that's where bees live, in a beehive. All right, let's do this one. A bird. Where does a bird live? That one's pretty easy. I bet you got that one. A bird lives in a nest. Good job, friends. Okay, Mr. Lambert and I have been seeing lots of these lately. You might have been seeing these around your house too. An ant. Do you know where an ant lives? It lives in an anthill. Lots of ants live together in a colony in an anthill. Okay, this one, a bat. Do you know where a bat lives? That's right, it lives in a cave. And the last one is actually two animals, but they live in the same type of habitat, so I wanted to put them together. A rabbit or a groundhog. Do you know what the name of their habitat is? I'll give you a hint, it's underground. It's a burrow. So they live in a burrow under the ground. Okay, we're gonna read a book now all about animal habitats, and it's a nonfiction book. Here it is right here. It's called Animal Homes, and it's a nonfiction book all about different animals. So it's actually called I Love Animal Homes. First, facts and pictures. So let's learn about some animal habitats. So this nonfiction book has a table of contents. We talked about that before, about how nonfiction books have the different topics, and then the page you can find the topics on. This is no exception. So if I wanted to skip right to a wasp's nest, I would know I can go right to page 16 of the book, and all the information I need is right there. Okay? All right, so we're going to start with a mouse's nest. So a dormouse nest looks like a ball of twigs. Dormice build their nests in hedges or underneath trees. The nests are actually made of grass, leaves, and tree bark torn into little pieces. The dormouse curls up in its cozy home to sleep all winter. This is called hibernation. An adult dormouse is tiny. When it curls up to sleep, it's only about as big as your fist. So friends, if you do this, that's about as big as that mouse gets. Dormice can hibernate for half of the year. Their bodies grow cold and they look like they're hardly breathing. In autumn, a dormouse's main food is nuts. Dormice eat lots to fatten themselves up, ready for hibernation. Dormice usually have 4 babies. The young are born in the summer and the autumn, when there's lots of food to eat. Mice have poor eyesight, so they use their whiskers to sense air movement to help them avoid predators. All right, a beaver lodge. Beavers live near rivers and streams. They build a home of sticks, grass, and mud, which is called a lodge. Beavers have big, sharp teeth, and they use them to chew through trees. The beavers use the wood to build a dam across the water, which stops the lodge from being washed away. During winter, piles of sticks are stored in the water so that the beavers can nibble at the bark. In spring, they eat buds and shoots. The lodge is hollow inside. The floor is above water so the beaver family can rest and eat. Chewing through trees wears a beaver's teeth down, but the teeth never stop growing. The entrance to the lodge is an underwater tunnel. This stops other animals from getting inside. And that's very smart. See, the beavers have to come down through the water and up there, and that's how they get into their beaver lodge. So a lot of other animals wouldn't be willing to do that little swim, so that keeps them very safe. The last fact is oily waterproof fur keeps beaver skin dry and enables them to stay warm in the cold water. Ant colony. Millions of ants live in a home called a colony. The ants build the colony and keep it safe and clean. They carry bits of dirt to the colony and build up to a small hill above the ground. Underground, there are holes or chambers. Here, the ants store food and raise their young. The queen's job is to lay the eggs. Other female ants keep the eggs clean and bring food for the queen. See how much bigger that queen is? Ants with wings are either queens or males. The queens are much bigger than the males. The white eggs turn into larvae. These are young ants and they need lots of food to grow. The larvae become covered in silky thread called a cocoon. Soon, grown-up ants will break out of the cocoon. And then a super home says termites are insects that build and live in mounds that can reach 9 meters high. That's about 5 times taller than an adult man. Wow. Look at that cool colony that those ants build under the ground. All we see above the ground are these ant hills, but underneath, all of this stuff is happening. It's pretty cool to think about. A polar bear den. When she is ready to have her babies, a female polar bear digs a den in the snow. Her cubs are born in winter, so the den keeps them safe and warm. Mother and cubs remain in the den until the spring. Then the cubs are big enough to leave their home. Most dens are made in snowdrifts. The mother digs deep into the snow with her strong paws and claws. When they're first born, these cubs are blind and helpless. They grow very quickly. A small hole in the roof lets in air for the bears to breathe. So friends, this is under the snow, but see how they've made this hole here? Because they have to let the air in so they can breathe fresh air. A tunnel at the side allows the bears to climb out to start looking for food. And this is about a brown bear. The Eurasian brown bear makes its winter den in a well-hidden rocky cave. We often think of bears living in caves or hibernating in caves, but polar bears like to be under the snow. A fox den. A fox family may have more than one den or home. Before a female fox or vixen has her babies, she makes several dens. These can be under trees or in old rabbit holes. When the cubs are born, their mother may move them to a new den if the old one is disturbed. Foxes may dig their own dens, but they prefer to find an old rabbit hole and make it bigger. The mother fox may have up to 6 cubs. They don't open their eyes until they're nearly 2 weeks old. The cubs venture outside their den when they're 1 month old. They like to play with each other. A snow home. Arctic foxes make snow dens that can be more than 3 meters underground. Okay, so that's an Arctic fox is another snow animal that lives in a cold climate. And so he's kind of like a polar bear where he'll build his den in amongst the snow. A weaver bird nest. These birds get their name from the way they weave their nests like baskets. Lots of weaver birds build their nests close together in the branches of the same tree. The male bird builds the nest. He shows it off to the females to encourage them to choose him as a mate. The male bird hangs outside the nest and uses his beak to wind strands of grass in and out. The nests are fastened tightly to the tree. Once the male has found a mate, he completes the entrance tunnel. The female lays her eggs in the main hollow. She sits on the eggs to keep them warm until they hatch. The entrance tunnel is the only way into the nest. It stops predators such as snakes stealing the eggs and chicks. And it says neat nest. Birds' nests can be different shapes and sizes. These Cape Batty birds have built a small, neat nest. Some of you might have been seeing some birds' nests. I've seen some pictures on the internet lately of some friends that have birds' nests by their front doors and things like that. So you might be seeing birds' nests around right now since it's spring. All right, a wasp nest. Thousands of wasps live in one nest. The nest is built with a papery substance that wasps make. The paper is used to create small cells. Here, the queen wasp lays her eggs. Worker wasps hatch from the eggs and help to make the nest bigger. A queen sleeps through the winter, ready to start a new nest in the spring. The rest of the wasps die in the cold. The wasps make paper by chewing wood and mixing it with their spit. The workers add paper around the outside of the cells. This helps to protect the whole nest. Look out for the wasps' nests in roofs, garden sheds, hollow trees, and holes in the ground. It says, be careful. Wasps have a painful sting on their rear ends. They may use it on a creature that disturbs their nests. And that's even humans. By accident, if we touch a wasp's nest, sometimes the wasps come out and they're angry. They're just trying to protect their nest, but they can sting you. So you always have to be very careful. Oh my goodness, hermit crab shell. Friends, does a hermit crab remind you of someone in our class? What about Charlie Kraus? Remember, he was always talking about those hermit crabs that he loved. So Charlie, I think you're going to really enjoy this page. As they don't have their own shells, hermit crabs have to find one. These creatures have soft bodies that are easy for predators to eat. To stay safe, the crabs hide inside empty seashells. They poke their legs and head outside the shell so they can move and find food. As the crab grows bigger, it leaves its old shell to look for a new one with more room. Most hermit crabs choose snail shells to live in. The shells need to be in one piece with no holes in them. Once it has found a shell, the hermit crab climbs into it backwards. This means it can keep a lookout for danger. This hairy yellow hermit crab lives in the coral reefs where it picks up food with its claws. Undercover. Once it has crawled into a shell, a hermit crab carries its home on its back. Kind of reminds me of a turtle, because turtles do that too, don't they? Squirrel nest. Squirrels make nests high up in the treetops. The nests are good homes for baby squirrels and help them to keep safe and warm. Some squirrels make their nests inside tree trunks. Others build a nest between the forked branches of a tree. This type of nest is called a dray. Baby squirrels are born blind with very little fur. After around 7 weeks, their eyes are open and their fur has grown. The nest is lined with moss, leaves, feathers, fur, and grass to make it cozy. Squirrels are the most active during the daytime. They rarely leave their nests at night. The mother squirrel wraps her tail around her babies like a blanket to keep them warm. And this says, the red squirrel's coat can be red, brown, or black. This squirrel has tall, pointy ears. A rabbit warren. Now remember, just before we read this book, we talked about how rabbits live in burrows. So we're going to learn about what that means. So rabbits use their strong legs and claws to dig an underground home. Their home is called a warren, and it's made up of lots of tunnels and nesting areas joined together. A female rabbit is called a doe, and a male is called a buck. Baby rabbits are called kits. They're born in a nest inside the warren that's lined with hay, straw, and fur. Newborn rabbits are blind and helpless. Their mother feeds them on her milk once a day. Rabbits warn each other of danger by thumping their back feet to the ground. A rabbit can dive into a tunnel to escape from predators such as birds of prey, foxes, weasels, and cats. And friends, so each of these is a burrow, and when all the burrows are put together, that's what a warren is. Okay? And it says, here we go. Hares look like rabbits, but they're bigger and faster. They don't build warrens, but they live in nests above the ground. So wow, they do really look like bunnies, but hares don't have these underground habitats. And friends, that's the end of our book. At the end, it's got some fun facts about some of the different animals. I think I'll leave that maybe for another time, but that's kind of cool if you wanted to learn more about those animals. If you wanted to do some research at home, if one of those animals interested you, you could ask your mom or dad to maybe help you do some research on the internet, and you could find out some more about those animals. Or if there's an animal you're thinking about that you're not sure what kind of habitat it lives in, you could maybe ask mom and dad, and I bet they would help you figure that out so you could get that information and learn it. All right, that's it for today. We'll see you on Thursday for our next circle time. Bye, friends.